what's up? Just popping in with a quick video, and in this one, I wanted this is kind of like an outcry, and this is not meant against anyone, because I think that none of us none of I think when I was a young person, like when I was a little kid, like there were like some kids that were a little bit older than me, and a lot of them were like really mean to creatures, like small creatures, and they would the first thing I noticed is like the before I ever saw people like being mean to creatures, like when I was little, the first thing they would do is they would call the creature something different than it actually was. So like where I was little, I lived in the Southwest, but in the Southwest you had something called box elder bugs, and it actually took me until I was in my 30s to actually I was actually a professional. I was a professional by the time that I understood what a box elder bug is. And I think they're like around like a lot of like maple trees. So I live in a area in the north where I almost went for like maybe 20 or 30 years not seeing them at all. And then I was doing my first professional role, and it's in an area where they have like a different type of trees than a lot of the area that area is named after a particular tree, and that tree is all over that area, and these bugs are all over that area, and they're you they're I've come to appreciate that bug, it might actually be a part of that tree that it comes from. I think that the box elder bug, it's deeply connected to a particular kind of tree, and on a certain level you could almost look at it as a part of that tree. And it's different because like a lot of animals, or a lot of creatures in nature, they have a way to protect themselves, like whether that's like you think about how hard it is to lay your hands on a fly. Flies might actually be one of the safest creatures because it's really difficult to lay your hands on a fly, because they're the fly is ready for the smoke. It's and they're quick. Like we think we're so intelligent, but flies are quick, and they see it coming a mile away. But some creatures like box elder bugs, they can actually fly, but they don't fly unless they choose to fly. It's interesting. Like a box elder bug, they won't run. Like they'll scurry. Like if you're bothering box elder bugs, they'll scurry, but they don't up and run or like up and fly away until they're good and ready to, even though they can fly. But they're so slow and obvious that I would imagine that of all the insects that have been like brutalized by like maybe children in life, or just people in life, the box elder bugs might be one, because they're so slow and obvious. But it's almost like a person on foot, like a pedestrian, like a lot of the, like I say, I can imagine like a lot of the violence against young people in the United States, people in general, but young people. You'd imagine that a lot of it might be like foot traffic or pedestrians, like similar to a box elder bug. But and and so um but when I was young, the kids would call them bloodsuckers, like in the area, and then they'd be very mean to them. And then I started being mean to them too, because I had heard them referred to like that, and I had seen it done like that. But they're actually not bloodsuckers. They're called box elder bugs, and I don't think that they have anything to do with anyone's blood. But just looking at them like that, it's like a grounds and a pretext to be violent to them, and it makes it okay to be violent because we've heard them referred to as less than an insect, less than a being, less than dignified, and then we've also seen other people do it. So it must be, so they're slow in the first place. They're less than an insect, less than a creature, less than worthy, and we've seen it done before, and they're right there and easy. And a lot of us have some instincts to hurt people and things, if we're honest. So I was very mean to them when I was little, and they'd be like all over like where I live at. And actually, one of the deepest things, if you see them mating, because when they mate for a long time. Like a lot of people say like they don't want. I went to the high school called the Minutemen, and so if you know history, the Minutemen were very brave. But I don't think that a lot of like people lovers would want to be called a Minuteman. I've been called a lot of things, less than the best lover, but not never a minute man. But these boxer bros, they'll just stay there stuck to each other, and they'll just like walk for like they'll mate for hours on end, just stuck to each other back. And one of them has to walk backwards like that, and then they'll walk. I guess one gets. So who wears the pants? One gets to walk forward for a little bit, and then the other gets to walk forward for a little bit. And then also, you can see them like actually pregnant, like these little box under bugs. Like some of them will get like really fat like that. So they're actually kind of really beautiful really romantic, even a little bit sexual. Like I like someone if you've ever like really like for those I'm talking to adults, when you make love, there's something of an energy that's like it's like a very it's like a very you there's no way I can explain that energy of like people coming together like that. And I you don't always necessarily have to be making love to experience that energy, but it's a deep energy. It's way past like just being erotic or just being romantic or just being intimate. Maybe intimate would be close, but even that is different. It's like that's life right there, and you see that with the box elder bugs, like when they're connected like that. But they're very vulnerable that whole time. And so when I was young, one time there's like this apartment that was like almost infested with them. Like they would be all over. My building had it worse than other buildings, or better if you how you appreciate it. But they were all over that place because it's actually because there was a tree, that exact kind of tree. It was in front of this building, and so they would be all over that building, but especially closer to that tree. And there was one man. He was like a single man, and he had a daughter. He was a single father raising a daughter, and he was very kind. And his daughter was also very sweet. And they actually lived like in a very small apartment, like a one room apartment. But I'd be out there being mean to like the box elder bugs for no reason, like on a early like weekend morning with nothing better to do. And I think maybe my parents, my father might have been like waking up hungover, either all night studying or waking up hungover. So I couldn't find the other children in the neighborhood, so I had nothing better to do on a Saturday morning than be mean spirited to some bugs. So I experienced something recently that was very mean spirited, like near a weekend, where someone, you could say maybe someone didn't have anything better to do than to be mean spirited to someone on foot. Um, but all I meant to say is that but he came by and he said, how would you feel if that was you? That's all he had to say to me, and I stopped it at that point. And that really informed a lot of my life, and that's actually why I don't go hunting or fishing as an adult. Hunting and fishing is very addictive because you get a thrill, like when you got something on the line, or you have that much power over another being, the power of life and death in your hand. That's a very profound feeling, and it can almost be like addictive, like a form of lust. It's actually even a deeper lust than regular lust, that lust for violence. But I was able to get past that because of that comment that person made. How would you feel if that was you? So I think a lot of us, we wouldn't want to feel things as much as we fetishize things or think about things. We wouldn't want to feel certain things, and I know I don't want to feel certain things. But also I want to say that so I think, but we're not good at some things because we don't practice them, and also we don't ask. So I want to ask to be funnier and a better singer and practice and hold myself accountable because I'm doing it openly. And I also just want to speak out against like a lot of this stuff in media where it's so natural and normal to hurt people, and it's almost like you have terms in slang, or you have like vernacular, and you have a nomenclature of how to hurt people, and it's singable, and it's in music. But I think some things we won't it think some things are addictive, but the highest form of awareness, I think the greatest enlightenment in awareness is humor and laughing. And when you have awareness about something, that's the first step to dropping it. So maybe we can't get past it, but we can drop it if we can laugh at ourselves and others. So I don't mean anything against anyone. I don't mean anything against anyone. And people who have meant things against me or mean things against me, I have and still learn from that and become better from that. And so I still love you and have nothing against you. And I also love life. So this is just for purposes of humor where I'm coming with this. It's not to taunt anyone or anything, because like I said, I don't have a lot in this life, but I think one of the last things that I'm gonna get to have in this life is what I'm sitting on right now, and I don't want to get it blown off. But here goes nothing. I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to fire at me.